Sixers fans, how we feeling out there? Hey y'all, my name is Lauren Gordon. Some of you may already know me on social media as Lauren Fan of the Year. Others may have just stumbled upon this podcast, but either way, I want to first thank all of you for tuning in to Season 3, Episode 14 of my very first podcast. I'm just a Sixers fan, the Lauren Fan of the Year story. Now let's continue the story. Y'all, the time is now May 4th, 2022. We were heading into round 2, game 2 of the NBA playoffs against the Eastern Conference #1 seed, the Miami Heat. We were playing in Miami, and we were down in this series 0-1, but I was feeling very confident. In game 1, we managed to keep the score very close, and we weren't even playing our best basketball, especially on defense. For me, the keys to winning game 2 were simple. Number 1, Matisse Thybulle, one of our best defenders, didn't play particularly well, so he was due for a big game. But we had to play better as a team on defense, and we had to watch our turnovers. Number 2, B-Ball Paul needed to start over DeAndre Jordan. B-Ball was faster, more athletic, and a better fit for fast breaks. We had to switch up the lineup. And since we didn't have Joel Embiid on the floor, Bam Adebayo was able to dominate. We had to put a stop to that. Number 3, we could not allow Tyler Hero to go off like he did in game 1. That kind of ties into my first point, which was, as a team, we had to play better defense. Number 4, James Harden and Tobias Harris, both of them needed to step up. And number 5, Tyrese Maxey just needed to do what he does best, use his speed, drive to the rim, draw the foul, and make some three-point plays at the free throw line. It all seems simple enough. I mean, even though we didn't have Joel Embiid, I still felt like we could pull out a win on the road. Man, that would be great. Y'all, at the final buzzer, Tyrese Maxey had 34 points to lead our Sixers, but it wasn't enough. We ended up losing game 2, 119-103. Bam Adebayo had 23 points. Jimmy Butler had 22 points and 12 assists. We played so bad that people were texting me, telling me it was over. And I was like, really? Y'all, relax. This is a 7-game series. Miami was expected to win their games at home. It was only game 2, y'all. It was too early to overreact. I responded, the playoffs don't begin until a team wins a game on the road, because as far as I was concerned, we were still in it. Then, the morning of May 6th, Shams Charania gave us some good news that I posted on social media. 76ers All-NBA star Joel Embiid has cleared concussion protocol. Dealing with orbital fracture and a torn ligament and thumb, Embiid is doing everything possible to be available to play in Game 3 tonight versus Miami. Y'all, I was thrilled. A Facebook friend, Chris Stern, commented on my post, still don't think he will play, but a 50% healthy Embiid is better than DJ, referring to DeAndre Jordan. And y'all, I couldn't agree more. Okay, so later that evening was Game 3 in Philly, and it was also rumored that the NBA would announce the league MVP. I thought, wow, this is going to be a big night, a big game. My Sixers are definitely pulling out a win. I wore my red Joel Embiid number 21 jersey. I was calling a win. My daughter Kendall went with me to the game. During our pregame routine, We took a photo with former Sixers Tim Perry, then headed to our seats. Joel Embiid was back, but y'all, he had to wear a protective mask. Just having Embiid's presence on the floor made a huge impact. The Heat wouldn't be able to get away with things that they were doing to exploit DeAndre Jordan. They weren't going to just run through the lane because Joel Embiid, a more skilled player, would make them pay. He played 36 minutes and had an 18-point, 11-rebound double-double to help lead our Sixers to a 99-79 victory. Tyrese Maxey had a slow start, but I told Kendall, Maxey tends to heat up in the second half, and that's exactly what he did. And then Maxey also had a strong play where he ran down one of the Heat players for a loose ball. He kept the ball in bounds and gave us another possession. And I know I give Danny Green a lot of flack, but I also had to give him credit because Danny had a nice game with 21 points. I was so proud of our guys, and I reminded everyone, this series is now 2-1, and we are still in it to win it. It was Mother's Day, Sunday, May 8th, round 2, game 4, at home, and an 8 p.m. tip-off. I wore my navy blue City Edition Joel Embiid number 21 jersey. I had to rock JoJo in back-to-back games. This time, my daughter Corey went with me to the game. At the very beginning, y'all, the refs were making some questionable calls, but not once was I worried about losing that game. We won huge because Joel Embiid is a difference maker. He scored 24 points. And even though the Miami Heat was the number 1 seed, I always felt like we were the better team, especially when Joel Embiid played. It was great having him back, even if he wasn't at 100%. James Harden played like vintage James Harden. He looked incredible, scoring 31 points. I felt confident that any given night, as long as everyone stayed healthy, any of our players could step up to get us over the hump. We had depth and versatility with this roster. And now, the series was tied 2-2. On the following day, on May 9th, the NBA announced the league MVP was Denver Nuggets center Nikola Jokic. Honestly, y'all, I can't take anything away from the Joker. He's a great player. He also had a dominant season. But y'all, come on. Joel Embiid, in my opinion, was still the better player. Honestly, Jokic won because he played more regular season games. There is a lot to be said for availability. Remember, the best ability is availability. And I posted on social media, Joel Embiid is the people's MVP. He got robbed this season. And as usual, I was locked into 97.5 The Fanatic to hear all the fan reaction. Of course, we are biased, and many of the fans felt, as I did, that Joel Embiid was more skilled. He also dominated the regular season, and he was valuable to our team. If Joel played, we had a high chance of winning. If Joel didn't play, it was a struggle. In my opinion, Joel Embiid should have won the title. Even though we were all disappointed, we needed to stay focused. We had a very important Game 5 to prepare for on the road in Miami. This game wasn't just about Joel Embiid. It was about supporting all of our guys. So, like I said, I was locked into 97.5 The Fanatic, listening to Anthony Gargano and Andrew Salchunas, who were hosting their midday show live from the Green Valley Country Club. They said over the airwaves that they were looking for Sixers car flags to hang from their car windows. Now, y'all, this is the crazy part. I live like 10 minutes from the Green Valley Country Club. And guess what? I had like 5 of those car flags in the trunk of my car. I had stocked a bunch of them because I would grab them whenever they handed them out at a Sixers event. And then I would hand them out to family and friends and even random people in public. I told y'all I was trying to spread Sixers love wherever I went. I quickly drove over to the Green Valley Country Club. I double parked, put my flashers on, and then I waved the flags at security and said, "Hi, I'm Lauren Fan of the Year, and I'm here to drop these flags off for Anthony and Chunas." They pointed me to the back area where they were set up. It worked out great because Ant and Chunas were on break, and I was able to chat with them for a bit. We even took a photo together. Y'all, listen, Anthony Gargano, the Cuz, or I refer to him as Ant, is big energy, big love. Him and Chunas are the best. And y'all, keep in mind, this was a young Andrew Salchunas, still learning the ropes from Ant. They were both extremely grateful, and by the time I got back to my car, they were already giving me mad love over the airwaves. May 10th, round 2, game 5 in Miami. Y'all, the series was tied 2-2. I was expecting Joel to go off, especially after not winning league MVP. He had made the comment earlier, quote, "I'm not sure what else I need to do," end quote. So now I thought JoJo was going to ball out and make every person who didn't vote for him to win league MVP regret their decision. I also believe that Embiid's focus was bigger than winning MVP. It was to bring a championship to Philadelphia. I thought, man, it would be incredible to steal Game 5 tonight on the road. Because, y'all, Miami didn't have an answer for Embiid. Joel dominated Bam Adebayo. Jimmy Butler was going to get his buckets, so for me, the key was to slow down Tyler Hero, who was a very streaky shooter. My hopes were high for our Sixers, but Game 5 ended in a loss with me feeling embarrassed and disappointed. Joel looked like a shell of himself. So many people were saying, maybe him not winning MVP is messing with his head. Now, I don't know how true this is, but I've read somewhere that after hearing the news that Nikola Jokic was named league MVP, Embiid wanted to shoot around by himself. Like, he didn't want to be around his teammates during the warm-ups. And this has always been my concern, that when Joel is down, it brings everyone else's energy down. This is what I was talking about when I said Embiid's up and down emotions negatively impacts our team. It looked like Embiid was out there just going through the motions. And then at one point, he got hit in the face while wearing his mask. And Lord forgive me, but in my opinion, he looked a little dramatic, doubling over in agony. And I was like, look, I get it. I'm sure it hurt getting hit in the face while wearing the mask. But y'all, it's a protective mask, right? But dude, you're not dying. I know that's terrible. And if it's that bad, just come out of the game. Honestly, y'all, it annoyed me how we always had to depend on Joel Embiid to advance. Our success and our demise was always in his hands. And it was frustrating because we couldn't depend on him. And it didn't help that he wasn't a leader in the locker room. I didn't want to come down hard on Joel because when we won, it was because of him. And unfortunately, when we lost, it was also because of him. We just had to get it right. And as a fan, I had to check myself and shake off all the negativity. May 12th, 2022. Round 2, Game 6 against the Miami Heat in Philly. I wanted to believe that there was no way that we could play this bad again on back-to-back games. We had to put Game 5 in the past. I was hoping Joel was feeling better physically and emotionally. I didn't want to take anything from him dealing with the orbital bone fracture and his thumb injury, and I knew that Joel was dealing with a lot, and everything was riding on his back for us to win. It's a huge burden. I also put a lot of expectations on the other guys to step up and take some of the stress off Joel. I still felt like we were the better team. We still had the two best players on the floor in Joel Embiid and James Harden. We just needed to execute and play our style of basketball. Danny Green said when we were facing elimination in the first round against the Toronto Raptors series that it was time for the guys to, quote, nut up, end quote. I put it out there again that our guys needed to nut up this time against the Miami Heat. Tonight was huge. It could potentially be an elimination game. No excuses. We have to take it one game at a time. Let's win tonight and force a Game 7. My son LJ went with me to the game. I could tell from the first quarter that we weren't going to win this game. There was no sense of urgency. We were never in attack mode. We were running and gunning, shooting, just throwing up threes, but y'all, nothing was falling. And I'm like, come on. There are other ways to get 3 points. You could drive to the rim, draw a foul, get the and one play. We didn't go after any loose balls. We were a hot mess. We also looked exhausted. I can't let Doc Rivers off the hook. He coached a horrible game. And Tyrese Maxey had 20 points. Embiid had 20 points. But y'all, that's not going to get the job done, especially when you got Tobias only scoring 14 points. And James Harden, who was our second option, he only scored 11 points. Unacceptable. We looked horrible. Danny Green ended up getting hurt, leaving the game. And from that moment on, y'all, we just could never recover. It also didn't help that our best player, Joel Embiid, was out there playing with a broken face and a finger injury. It just wasn't in the cards for us. We ended up losing that game 99-90. We were officially eliminated. After the game, I still needed to drop off my son LJ. I could feel the lump in my throat. I couldn't even swallow. Then I wiped the tears that fell down my cheek before LJ, who was sitting in the passenger seat, even noticed. Normally after a game, win or lose, we're talking nonstop. But tonight, we both rode home in silence. Honestly, I think we were in shock. I dropped off LJ at his house, and then I headed home. After parking in front of my door, I sat in my car and posted my final Sixers fans post-game reaction video of the season, sharing my recap, my thoughts for the future, and then I thanked everyone for their support with liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing all of my posts and videos. Feeling sad, I walked in the door and then got ready for bed. I read a few comments from my Facebook friends who had already responded to my final video. Chris Stern commented, 21 straight years of mediocre basketball. Lonnie Rowland commented, thank you, Lauren Fan of the Year, for everything you brought to the 76ers Forever family and for all your encouragement, positive posts, and joy you have brought to us and everyone. I do look forward to seeing more of you in the future. Sixers for life. Michael McClendon commented, they were punked and outplayed, plain and simple, in their own building plus down in Miami. I'm tired of this mediocrity. AI did more with less because he had heart and fight, which this team obviously lacks. My friend Lisa Smith Carter also commented, and y'all, for the record, Lisa has never been a James Harden fan, and she wasn't thrilled that he was on our Philadelphia 76ers team either. She said, sad for you. They have to go shopping and exchange Harden out. I never thought he would bring anything to our team but disappointment. He's washed up and has been for several years. Need a stronger bench and a strong backup for fragile Embiid. If he was 100, I do believe our chances would have been different. I'm looking forward to next season. I responded to a few text messages and then tossed and turned all night. Damn, our season is officially over. And y'all, remember when I told y'all in that last game that Danny Green left the game early with an injury? Well, it was later reported that Danny Green had a torn ACL in Game 6 loss to Miami. And I was like, man, I do remember him leaving the game, but I had no idea it was that serious. I knew that Danny Green was one of our older players, but what would this mean for his future? And what does this mean for his future with our Philadelphia 76ers? Dear God, it was a lot to process. Oh well, it was the end of the Sixers 2021-2022 season. Let's rest and prepare for the offseason. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And join me next time as we continue the story.